If you've ever felt stuck working out, dieting, and nothing changes, this video is for you. I'll show you what's really happening in your body and how you can finally take control of fat loss for good. How the body gains weight, how the body loses weight, and also where the fat actually goes. This video isn't from guesswork. I'm covering the first-hand knowledge that I directly learnt when I was on my weight loss journey. I had spent years working hard at the gym and dieting without getting anywhere. It was frustrating, depressing, and to be honest, heartbreaking. It all changed when my husband suggested I get a PT. This began my journey to finally break the code on what worked for me, and I started to understand what was really happening in my own body. I lost 35 kilos in 9 months, and I've kept it off since 2014. No diets, no gimmicks, just efficient, purposeful actions without the time and money wasting BS. I'm no Einstein, and I'm definitely not the most disciplined person. Honestly, I was a PT's worst nightmare. So if I can do this, you can too. I'm Kylie Taylor, and I've been a PT here in Wollongong for over 10 years. I specialise in helping people over 40 with weight loss and strength training, both here in the gym and online, along with injury rehabilitation and chronic health conditions. Before we get to the first topic of how we gain weight, let's briefly talk about the new technologies appearing with weight loss. Mounjaro, Ozempic, CagriSema, Retatrutide. These weight loss drugs may have a place for many people suffering from obesity, but no amount of drugs will ever replace your body's fundamental need for movement. There's also a lot of misinformation and snake oil remedies out there promising the world, but only delivering broken promises and side effects. Special weight loss exercises, detox teas and juice cleansers, fat-burning pills and stimulants, very low-calorie diets, HCG diets, laxatives or slimming gummies, appetite suppressants, either over-the-counter or prescription, and no exercise gimmicks like belts, wraps, etc. All they really give you is dehydration, high blood pressure, muscle loss, low energy, digestive issues, and mood swings. I just don't want you to be their next victim. Let me know in the comments if you've tried any of these weight loss solutions before. Now let's find out what is really going on so you know exactly what to do. Fat or adipose tissue is made up of two types, white fat and brown fat. Now, brown fat has the job of thermogenesis, which, as the name suggests, assists the body to elevate temperature. Found in larger ratios in newborns, adults on average do not store a lot of brown fat. So this is generally not what we're talking about with regard to weight loss. White adipose is the fat that we are talking about when we're discussing weight loss. White fat has three main jobs: hormone creation, insulation, energy storage. White fat that is stored around the organs, like the heart, lungs, and liver, is known as visceral fat. White fat that's stored under the skin is known as subcutaneous fat. The process: we gain fat when our caloric intake is more than our caloric output. The process of converting those surplus calories from our food into stored energy within the fat cells is called lipogenesis. Now, lipogenesis breaks down the proteins, carbs, and fats in our food into fatty acids. These fatty acids combine to glycerol to form triglycerides, otherwise known as fat. Now, it's important to understand that fat cells will enlarge until they cannot store any more fat. Once a fat cell reaches its storage capacity, your body's going to create more fat cells. Once created, those new fat cells, they will rarely go away. Now, there are surgical options. However, I urge you to do your homework before taking these options, as they can be very painful and they can have complicated recovery. Genetics. Now, this is super important to remember. There is no way to control where fat gets stored in the body and what order it gets stored. Our bodies do an amazing job of storing and unlocking energy. However, it's important we give ourselves a fighting chance. Don't just count calories, your body needs nutrients. A Big Mac and Coke has around 850 calories, but very little nutrition. A homemade chicken salad wrap with a glass of water has around 300 calories, but it is packed with nutrients. Remember, garbage in, garbage out. Your food will be the building blocks of your body. The process: we lose fat when our caloric intake is less than our caloric output. This is when the body will start tapping into the energy stored in the fat cells. The process is called lipolysis. This process takes time. You will not start to burn fat as soon as you start to exercise. You need to be exercising at a moderate to high level for 15 to 20 minutes on average before the process starts to take effect. Aiming for around a 40-minute workout is ideal. Lipolysis breaks down the triglycerides and releases fatty acids from the glycerol. Once unlocked, the fatty acids enter the bloodstream combined with albumin, water-soluble proteins. Genetics. As mentioned earlier, you cannot control where fat goes. Likewise, you cannot control where you'll start to lose fat. Usually it is in the reverse order to where you gained it, but not always. It is a myth that an exercise like an ab workout alone will give you a flat tummy or a six-pack. A consistent weight loss program consisting of having a healthy calorie deficit and exercise, preferably strength training, can lead you to having a flat tummy, but even then, genetics can play a part in what body shape ends up being the healthiest you. Unlocking energy. The blood with the fatty acids travels to the muscles and feeds the mitochondria. Mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell and use fatty acids mixed with the oxygen in the blood to create energy for the muscle, also known as ATP. ATP, or adenosine triphosphorate, is your body's main source of energy. Every time that you move, breathe, or even think, your cells use ATP to power those actions. This energy is then used to keep your muscles working and your body functioning. Fat doesn't get burned off like many might imagine. Once the fat, triglycerides, are broken back down to fatty acids and finally reach the mitochondria in the muscle in the form of ATP, the ATP is then broken down to ADP, adenosine diphosphorate. This is largely CO2, carbon dioxide, which is expelled through the lungs, and H2O water, which is expelled through the skin as sweat, and the kidneys as urine. So now that you understand what is actually happening in your body, you hopefully understand that there is no silver bullet. Instead, seek your own zone where you can reduce your calories and increase your energy demands with 40 minutes of training at least 3 times a week. But be mindful of where you're starting from. You may have to do more than 3 days of training. And if you're unsure where to start, investing in a PT could save you months of frustration. But what happens when you're trying to be healthy and no one around you is on the same page? In the next video, we'll talk about how to stay on track when your environment's working against you. You won't want to miss it. It's something many of my 40+ clients really struggle with.